You're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, Singles Talk Radio channel, where we take a lighthearted and candid approach to discussions on the journey of relationship loss, divorce, parenting, being single, relationships building, dating, and yes, sex. Join our listeners and begin living your best life.
Thank you for tuning into The Love Coach Show, hosted by me, Bruce Starr. On this show, you will learn a lot about relationships from me, the Love Coach, and my many interesting guests. And now, welcome to The Love Coach Show with Bruce Starr. On today's show, I will be sharing an audio version of a live presentation I made recently in Jupiter, Florida, to a group of senior citizens who are interested in getting a better handle on modern-day dating. This audience was quite an interesting and vibrant group who had many excellent experiences and interests. They were thinking of becoming more social and getting back into the dating scene. This presentation was called The Do's and the Don'ts, the Benefits and Pitfalls to Online Dating. Anyone of any age could benefit from listening in. The audio could be better. Sorry about that. I hope you enjoy it. Look, if you got your heart broken, your parents broke you up, his parents, she went off to school, you got your heart broken. It was very, very, and men especially, oh my God. Wonder why men are so sometimes emotional, so retarded. I know most of you don't think of us, but some of us are. It's because when, and I'll tell you the difference. You're going to say it's the same for women. When a boy fell in love, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, just like you went in 100%. No baggage. Nothing to be afraid of. You weren't worried about this and guilty about that. You just jumped in. Did you have, everybody kind of have that experience when you were younger? When a man, if he gets his heart broken at that, I'm going to say fragile age, but if you get your heart broken, a man may never fully recover from that experience. And you're thinking to yourself, I didn't recover that well either if you were a female. But here is the difference. A woman is able to talk to her mom, her female customer, her aunt, her girlfriends. Talk it out until they were able to sort of recover and give it a try again. Do you ever hear Frank and Tony go into the gym and say, man, I was feeling really vulnerable, and my girlfriend told me she doesn't love me. Does that happen? No. Well, my experience is that men don't have as much of an outlet as the ladies do. And they weren't able to talk it out, feel it, and many times they went through their adult lives hurt and protected. What I learned from the rooms in AOL, that if you want to continue to be social and to have some fun, and you had a broken heart, the way to protect yourself was to not move forward with your heart open and vulnerable, and you more decided to think about how relationships should be. And you thought about who would be best for you. And this is what happened to many, many people. And the problem with thinking about it, and I realize a lot of you may not be able to do it because you maybe married your first love or something like that, stayed married for many years. I'm telling you this because
we're going to get to this information here, and you sort of need to know that when the men had a hard time moving out from there, and they decided to be a little, hide their hearts and go after who they thought would be good. And that's what brought about the difficulties for them, but they were able to stay social. Okay? Then when they found the internet, this was a place where you could move forward with your head and learn about people from a distance, typing to people rather than actually reading. This was an incredible phenomenon that had never happened before. It happened to a lot of people. So, who has dated online? Okay. Who has thought about dating? A few more. Okay. So that's what this is all about. Tonight would be about learning a little bit about what it's like to date on the internet. Is it this fairyland? Is it this incredible opportunity? In many instances, yes. You would absolutely get a chance to meet people that you would never meet before. You would never meet them. They don't live next door to you. They don't go to the temple, church. You don't see them at work. They could live 5 minutes away. You never met them. It could be an hour or 2 hours. So it's an incredible way to meet people that you never would have met. That part is good.
Let's take a break from my presentation for these brief but important messages. Don't go away. We will be right back.
You're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, Singles Talk Radio Channel, where we take a lighthearted and candid approach to discussions on the journey of relationship loss, divorce, parenting, being single, relationships building, dating, and yes, sex. Join our listeners and begin living your best life.
When you and the people that have dated online, you know that there are unexpected difficulties that you don't realize could come up when you're dating online. You don't realize it. You're going in with your mind open, your heart open. You want to meet someone, and it doesn't quite turn out the way you want it to. We'll talk more about that. So, everyone has heard of a friend, or a friend of a friend, who got married online. I think everybody has heard about that. And that has really pushed people to say, hey, it can happen to me. It can. But it has to do with mostly how you're feeling about yourself rather than the person that you meet. Because the next thing it says is, any 2 people can get married. Have you ever met 2 people that got married and you said, well, they should be getting married? Any 2 people can get married. They could look good. Oh, well, we're going to get married. We want to look good to our friends or family. But it's another thing to be in a supportive, loving, committed relationship. So, it does take 2 people who have a high degree of self-love, self-esteem to make a successful marriage. So, some do's to make the experience positive. And I'd like you all, there's about 11 things here. I'd like you all to find something here that you can read. We're going to get to all of it. That you can read out loud. And then we can discuss. Leave the past here. So important for your head and heart. I have one of the things that people came into this room on America Online. I would hear time and time again, someone would say, I'm going to spew everything out to them. I'm going to tell them all everything, and if they're still around, then maybe they're for me.
Say something about that. Now, when you're a newly widowed person, it's hard have to leave that behind. If it's not, so you need someone to talk to about that. So you really can't leave that when you talk about the woman or the man that you lost. It was in part of your life for a long time. So that's going to be a really difficult.
It is going to be difficult. Now what you have to do is you have to put yourself in the other person's place. And if you meet someone new, all you insist on talking about is your ex-husband, how's that going to make him feel?
Very good.
It'll make him feel anywhere from very bad to, who am I? Am I a piece of, So, if that's the kind of relationship that might be more comfortable for you, there's no rules. And the reason why I leave it right here is because everyone does it. And it sort of creates a little bit of an uncomfortable place when you're meeting someone new. They're hoping that there might be an opening for a new relationship between you, but if you speak about the past and this other person, your ex-husband, they're going to say to themselves, they're still injured, they're still deep into the other, and they're not really ready. And they'll move on. They might even like you, might even like you a lot, but if you don't create a space inside of you for them, see, guys need to feel sort of important in your life for us to take a relationship serious. So, yes.
You have to think of it as a new experience. It says you have to leave your past behind. They are not the people that you should be opening up to. They are the people that you think of as.
And you're going to get social.
You're
Bring up your past to others.
That's right.
Working out with friends.
You're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, Singles Talk Radio Channel, where we take a lighthearted and candid approach to discussions on the journey of relationship loss, divorce, parenting, being single, relationships building, dating, and yes, sex. Join our listeners and begin living your best life.
Thank you for staying with us. I think you will learn quite a bit over the next few minutes. Now back to the presentation.
Clean slate for you as much as possible, so that if you do meet someone, that you have the best chance of possibly creating something new and interesting. I'm not telling you anything that you want to do, whatever you want to do. But what I'm here to do is to create the best opportunity for you. If you do meet someone, when you do meet someone, that you're creating the best pair possible, so that there is a second date or a third date. Okay, who wants to read another?
I'll do one.
Yes.
Positive and upbeat.
Be positive and upbeat. If she hadn't done as much work on herself, and she was not a functioning person, and she wasn't a very healthy person, what would she have done with that fellow? She would have tried to save him, rescue him. How do those relationships work? Oh, they don't. Darn. Not the healthy ones. The relationship should not be based on rescuing someone, healing someone. Why do you think that is?
I would tell him to go home and when you're ready, call me. Don't be negative. But I would have said to him, you're really not ready for this. Let's have a drink, and then you go home and find your pillow. Don't bother me.
The same thing, even if it's another female.
Oh yeah.
Female widows go out or widowers. You can't just sit there and cry.
No.
It's the same thing.
Because
You don't want to hear that.
that girl, that woman, is still not going to be so quick to pick up the phone the next time. You have to use a little common sense. Unless that person, your friend, is not super healthy, then they're gonna say to themselves, "This is what I learned over the I'm smarter and better and healthier, and she's not. I'm going to try to help her. That's not ideally who we want as friends. You don't want to be thinking that you're up here, she's down here, and her rescue. That's what kind of relationship you don't want that.
Let's take a break from my presentation for these brief but important messages. Don't go away. We will be right back.
You're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, Singles Talk Radio channel, where we take a lighthearted and candid approach to discussions on the journey of relationship loss, divorce, parenting, being single, relationships building, dating, and yes, sex. Join our listeners and begin living your best life.
Now back to the presentation.
And this is what you have to watch out for when you reach out to the youth. This is what we're here to talk about. I'm not saying everybody's like this. I'm not saying this is the way it is with everybody and everywhere. These are kinds of things that happen on the internet more than we want to expect. But some people who are online are hiding behind the monitor. And it's a lot safer to have a mental relationship with you, at least the minds are getting stimulated. Say you're going to pick someone up at 8 o'clock and you can't call or something, but don't just show up. How does that make the other person feel?
Unimportant.
Awful. Awful. The problem is, these kinds of things come up way too often on internet dating, and it makes you feel not great. And so, I have what's called a pie scale. When we're 16, 17, 18, we don't come with a full pie, right? A full apple pie. I mean, we're offering it all. We meet somebody, hey, you're offering it all. And if you get your heart broken, how much of that pie are you going to offer the next person? Not quite as much. Probably half, maybe even a little less. And as you're trying to heal yourself, and you decide to date online, and you run into people who don't show up every time one of these disappointing events happen, it takes a little bit more of that sliver of that pie. And the next time, you offer a little less. So that's what I want to prevent. The internet is an interesting, incredible, dynamic place to meet someone, but you got to do small. Have anybody ever been on a boring date? Nobody?
Yeah, I have, yes.
Okay. Here's why. Pie scale. I gave you the pie scale. Here's the boring date. Now, people, there's spirited people all over the world that believe that really is no such thing as a past, and there's really no such thing as a future. You can't put your finger on it. All you have is the what?
Now.
Present moment.
That's why they call it the present.
That's all you have. So, when you're on a date with someone who's not particularly healthy, thinking about the past, thinking about the ex-boyfriend, ex-husband, here you are sitting on a date with them across the table. Their eyes are open. They're blinking every once in a while, but it's like nobody there. One of the reasons is that their minds are either in the past, comparing you to past boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives, or in the future trying to figure out, is this going to work? Are you going to be able to take care of my kids? Are you going to make a good husband? Is he making enough money? Is she sexy? On and on and on. And it leaves very little bit of you right there with that person. So, when you are sitting at a table, one of the things, people say, gosh, she didn't say anything, or he didn't say anything. You want to stand out from the crowd. Be interested in the other person. Ask the question, not how much money you made, or how sexy you in bed, or how big is this, or how, not that. Ask them questions about their life. And if the woman does that, then will say, wow.
Let's take a break from my presentation for these brief but important messages. Don't go away. We will be right back.
You're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, Singles Talk Radio Channel, where we take a lighthearted and candid approach to discussions on the journey of relationship loss, divorce, parenting, being single, relationships building, dating, and yes, sex. Join our listeners and begin living your best life.
Now back to the presentation.
We'll sort of take that second look and say, it's a little different. We're not just talking about sizes and shapes, things like that. So, yes.
When you ask that first question, it opens up a whole book of their life. So, this is what happens sometimes. They go on, and they tell you every little detail of their life. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. How do you stop it?
Well,
you know what I mean? He tells you.
You take out your cell phone and you for the next day. Listen, isn't it better to find out how unhealthy they are on the first date?
Yes. For sure.
That's it. But give people a chance to show themselves, and they will. And one way to do that is to ask them questions about themselves. If they have no self-control, they're going to do that. And you're going to go, holy cow, oh my God, my cat needs to be walked, and I got to get out of here. Ask specific questions such as, tell me about your work. Do you like to travel? I mean, everybody here, if you want to stand out from the crowd, have what on your face? Smile. Most of the time, people are not smiling. They're on that date and they're so anxious, or they're so worried, or they're so fearful. Is this going to work? Is this not going to work? And so you got the mouth going down like this. Stand out from the crowd. Smile, be upbeat, ask questions. Right? They're going to think that this is the greatest date that they've been on. Don't date too often. That brings up the Pisces. Are there people that date 2 or 3 times a week or more on the internet? Yes. They're dating different people. They're already looking at the next picture to see who they're going to ask out. You don't know. That's why you have to be very careful. You don't know what their dating habits are. If you meet someone online, there's a good chance that they're coming forward with an empty pie tin. They're offering you an empty pie tin, hoping that you're going to be the one that's going to do it for them. You're going to create the life that they've been looking for. And of course, that just happens at TV and in the movies and in cartoons. It doesn't happen in real life. People have to build up their own self-esteem. You know what I tell people that have been dating too much? Hey, stop dating. Build up your own feelings about yourself, so that when you do meet someone, you're feeling pretty good about yourself. I remember when I was dating, and if there were 2 choices that I could go out with, again, this is not necessarily for Arlen, if there was one girl who looked like she was dating a lot, and flashier, and there was someone who was a little quieter, a little more conservative, I always chose the one who was a little quieter and conservative because I knew her pie tin was a little full. And she wasn't offering me an empty pie tin. That we had a chance.
I like what you said in number 2 in the middle, that it takes 2 people who have a high degree of self-love and self-esteem to make any kind of successful partnership.
Right.
Because you have to be happy with yourself and confident with yourself
And everything else, if you think elsewise, you see it on TV, you see it in the movies, and it's just not.
People who don't feel good about themselves aren't fun to be with.
Exactly. So it takes a lot of self-work to work on yourself and not to wait for someone to save you from your misery. It takes a lot of self-work, work on yourself, have your friends, go out and do what you're doing. But maybe when you have a date opportunity that comes up, it would be my hope that you might pull this out. What did he say about that? Leave the past behind. Yeah. That's all. That's what this is all about. If you happen to think about dating online, these are some of the things that you need to think if you're thinking about dating.
I have a question. I've never dated online and I want to, but I'm intimidated by having to write a profile. Can anyone give me tips on, people say be honest, but I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, that's one of the most challenging and difficult parts to dating online. What do I say?
Yeah. Be honest.
Yeah. And I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say too little. I don't want to attract. It's like every sentence that you write is going to cause a spark in someone. And you want to make sure that the sentences that you're writing are going to attract the right sparks. Because someone can say, I love making love on the beach at midnight. Oh, boom, you're going to get, Oh, and all we were doing was saying, I'm just romantic at heart. And I like the thought of making love on the beach. All of a sudden, your mailbox will be jammed with people having their own fantasy about that. So you just have to be careful. It has to be well thought out. And you need to include 2 or 3 of your friends. They all need to read it. They all need to say, well, you didn't say anything about your love of chemistry or your love of calculus. Don't say that. Thank you for listening to The Love Coach Show, hosted by me, Bruce Starr. If you would like to contact me or the guest on this show, write me at lovecoach, LUV coach, @AOL.com.
You're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, Singles Talk Radio Channel, where we take a lighthearted and candid approach to discussions on the journey of relationship loss, divorce, parenting, being single, relationships building, dating, and yes, sex. Join our listeners and begin living your best life.